I want to start this video by saying that the age of consent in Israel is 16 years old. Now, with the recent issues that have been going back and forth between Israel and Iran, a lot of people have been giving their thoughts and opinions on that eternal struggle happening there in the Holy Land. And Jordan Peterson happened to be one of those people who recently urged people in the United States that if they feel strongly, I would assume it was directed at people in the United States. Technically, he didn't put a national address on it, but the main consumers of his content would be in those and English-speaking countries like the like the United Kingdom, Canada, America. But I don't think that Canada's too fond of him, at least not the majority of them. So obviously his primary target would be the United States. His sentiments appeal to our sensibilities. Let's just say it like that. And he's saying that if we feel strongly about what's going on there, that we can, strongly about specifically what's going on in Iran, that we can write our leaders here to go and aid Israel in toppling the totalitarian regime that they have in Iran. And I'm just going to say that that's very funny. It's interesting how quickly people from the Daily Wire or people who associate with the Daily Wire, some of them, not all of them, have moved into this formation of alignment with Israel. It's something that, people have pointed out before, and I don't care too much either way because, I'm worried about America, to be honest with you. And it only really draws my attention when people are talking to Americans about partaking in foreign affairs, kind of like my criticism of Ukraine and Russia. So once again, we have people urging us and encouraging us to take some sort of passion or feel some type of way about what's going on in another country, 2 other countries, mind you, across the world. And I just want to ask, why are the people who tell us to not have involvement with Ukraine or to not care about them spouting off this senseless nonsense at the mouth, telling us that if we care enough, we should focus on toppling the totalitarian regime that is in Iran? Do people think about what they say from one sentence to the next anymore? Like, do they worry about any type of consistency, or is it just, and I made my first video of the day about social media and how it's really affecting people. And I think that this is another one of those things. We've been we're so postcardified, meaning that we're so quotified. We're so into releasing that one powerful statement with our finger in the air like this and getting that off and then moving on. And then the next day or the next week, we'll say something that completely contradicts that. But it doesn't matter because it's about what sounds good at the time. And I'm not saying saying whatever to appease whoever's there. It's not the same thing as that. I'm not talking about that. What I am saying is you strongly believing something and saying, I've been guilty of this before too. But you have to be able to admit your mistakes is the key point. Because I've said things, I'm a type of person who's very passionate. I do say things with my full heart when I feel them. And if I find information that changes my beliefs later on, I have no qualms about talking about how I was wrong, even though I was passionate about it. And it came from a place of wanting better for humanity oftentimes. So when people zealously let off commentary that is ignorant or contradicts another point that they make later on, the problem only comes when they refuse to address or acknowledge or see this issue with themselves. And a lot of times, us on the outside can't truly know when somebody does that because it's not everybody's obligation to tell us any type of reflection that they have within themselves, even if we're the ones accosting them or trying to give them criticism. Just because you change somebody's mind doesn't mean that they have to let you know that you did. Most times in human nature, they're too stubborn to admit that. So it's fine. But there are indicators of people's actions when you double down on senseless commentary or stupid, irresponsible, or ignorant things that you say. When you double down on it, don't care and refuse to learn, or go even further to press the issue in a direction when you are obviously in the wrong, Now that's another territory, and that seems to be where Jordan Peterson is planting himself here. I'm a person who appreciates plenty of the works that Jordan Peterson has contributed to the world, but I will have to say that we do have to keep him in check here, just like every other human being, with criticism. Not that any one of us are his best friend or that he is beholden to any one of our thoughts or opinions, but a man who cares about communication between certain calibers of people should take into consideration those people's thoughts and feelings in regards to them. So I think that he's a smart enough gentleman that he knows that, although his arrogance from his success, which is rightfully earned, could potentially leave him blind in some situations. Hopefully not this one. Who knows? And of course, there's always conspiratorial thinking that maybe he has a little bit more of an agenda as to why he's choosing to align with Israel. I'm not going to go that route on this video until we have any type of more harder evidence on that, but people are allowed to speculate.